We've been educating and graduating medical students here in Galway for over 175 years. And that was created from the very beginning and based on its relationship to the nearby hospital just across the road. The foundation chair in anatomy was a clinician in the hospital, and he was the one who created bedside teaching and introduced a tradition of bedside teaching that remains the bedrock of the students' educational experience today. So over the years, beyond Galway, the university has expanded and developed academies in Donegal, in Sligo, in Mayo, and in Portiuncula and Ballinasloe. And these relationships have been strengthened further by the creation of the Saolta University Healthcare Group. So we have to continually bring ourselves back to the mission, which is enhancing healthcare through education, research, innovation, and training. And so we need to create a community in partnership, which is where we started at the very beginning 175 years ago. And now it's time to really embrace that and expand it further. And so having a community of academic clinicians who all have the same aims, though in different specialties and different areas, of both educating and training and delivering excellent care ultimately to our patients, is really the aim of ACAP.
One of the challenges in many healthcare systems is the dual governance systems which apply to healthcare and the academic university sector. So ACAP to me is a key bridge, a key link between those two systems. And success for me will be consultants who provide state-of-the-art clinical care to their patients, but are also educating the healthcare providers of the future and engaging in partnership with research which will have near patient benefit.
Well, I suppose to be a doctor is to teach, because all of us have bought into the idea that we hand on to the next generation. It was done for us, and so we want to continue to do so. The purpose of the academic clinician advancement program was to reward people in a way, and also to recognize what they were doing as educators, teachers, nurturers, mentors, and so on. What's really evident in, say, the hospitals in Saolta Group and so on, associated with the medical school, is there's a huge amount of clinical education going on, but not a lot of it gets recognized. And this is about recognizing that. It's also, though, an opportunity to help people who are doing it every day, to get better at it, to maybe think about it, reflect on it, and grow and develop as educators. I mean, I think we certainly, as the people who are maybe designing these criteria, first of all want to say, actually, anybody applying for this program may be doing way more teaching than they think they're doing. Because literally, as you are walking around with, say, graduates or undergraduates on a ward round, even as you demonstrate things, show things, explain things, give guidance to your team, all of that is actually educational activity. People are learning all the time by watching with you, being with you, and so on. So I think the message we want to communicate is we're not asking people to necessarily take on vast new roles, rather to carefully examine the roles they've got. Maybe think about enhancing either those roles, maybe taking on one or two new ones, or simply learning from their experience rather than just continuing to do it the same way all the time.
I think teaching is an integral part. Obviously, surgery is based on an apprenticeship model, so we've come through being taught all the way along as part of our clinical duties, and I think it's really fantastic to engage with the students. I think being engaged with students at that stage of their career brings a freshness and a new life to what we're doing. I just think it's a very prized part of what we do, and I think we appreciate very much engagement with the student population.
My first year of placement was in Castlebar Mayo Medical Academy, and we started doing the general specialties, so medicine, surgery, perioperative care and emergency medicine. There was a lot of time taken for patient care and patient-centered care, and I thought this was very influencing on me, especially being so young at the time and being very early on in my career. I had no clinical experience before Castlebar, so it was very nice to see that despite kind of a busy peripheral hospital, that you can make time for the patient, and that obviously you have to and you should, but that can get lost sometimes, and it just wasn't. And I saw it not being lost, and I was like, to me it was very reassuring and motivating, because I was thinking, okay, look, if they can do it and they're doing it, then I will definitely be able to do this, and that's what I would like to do in my practice. And you know, I think over the years you get structures, and kind of from doctors and nurses who've done it all before, you know, you get kind of ways to think about things and attitudes, and I think a lot of those attitudes come as well. You can see them from the consultants, and it kind of works top down, and I think if it does go from the top down, it makes it more normal, and it makes it more acceptable, like more easily done, and I think that's very important as well, you know.
I think the academies play a really important part in medical education, because it's real life medical education in a real life clinical environment, in a hospital, in a rural area. Our academy in Sligo is physically on top of the hospital, totally immersed in everything, and it means that they get a really good immersive clinical experience.
Well, the first thing I would say is that many of my consultant colleagues in Saolta, in the Irish medical system, have substantial experience in research from their training or from their current practice, and most importantly, the application of research to patient care and healthcare systems. And from that, they often garner new ideas and innovative concepts that could be fed back into the university research system to produce exciting new projects. I feel that ACAP is a stepping stone into, or potentially back into, that world by finding full-time research colleagues within the School of Medicine or the broader college that can start to incorporate their clinical ideas and questions and hypotheses into more multidisciplinary research projects that can then really strongly compete for national funding through Health Research Board, international funding through the European Commission, and other major funding bodies.
I would really strongly recommend somebody apply for the ACAP programme. Even the process of applying, you know, made me take stock of where I was and you know, what my aspirations were, and you know, both clinically in relation to teaching and in relation to research. By linking in with the university, you know, I started to get more grants and more funding, even, you know, starting very small, and that really allowed me to develop that side of things. So I could, you know, every year I supervise some students, but also we've developed some other research programs as well. You know, having always worked in quite big academic institutions, and you know, for family reasons, we moved to the northwest. It was brilliant to have a structure there and a system there that I could kind of continue, you know, the things that I love to do, like teaching and research. You know, that was fantastic. Because I think that that's the way to have a very fulfilling work career, but also it's the way to grow your future staff and people to look after you as you go on as well. And making, you know, the West and the Northwest, you know, a really attractive place for people to come back to. And, you know, it is a fabulous place to live. It's a fabulous place to rear your family, but actually it can be a fabulous place to work too. And it doesn't mean that you're just doing a service job. You can do all the other things too. You can do your clinical work, you can do your teaching, you can be involved in undergraduate and postgraduate, and you can get involved in research.
The opportunities that I've had through being part of the ACAP programme are so far-reaching that you honestly wouldn't believe it. So I've met with and encountered people that I normally would never meet in the clinical world. I've had opportunity to collaborate, to network, to bounce ideas off people, and to meet people from completely different spheres that I never would have encountered otherwise. From a research perspective, from a bioinnovate perspective, and I think it has brought a real freshness to my own clinical practice to be engaged with the ACAP programme.